What if I told you that your home could feel alive, vibrant, and full of life without soil, without messy pots, and without hours of maintenance? Most of us think plants need dirt, sunlight, and constant care. But what is a hidden way our grandparents, farmers, and ancient healers used to grow lush greenery? Using only water? Imagine walking into a room where leaves glisten, stems grow strong, and air feels cleaner, all because of plants thriving in nothing but water. It sounds too good to be true, yet countless cultures have relied on this method for centuries, long before fertilizers, garden centers, or even the idea of low-maintenance plants existed. Modern research now confirms what those old traditions hinted at. Plants can absorb nutrients from water, grow faster in controlled conditions, and even provide subtle air-purifying benefits. And the best part? You don't need a green thumb to get it right. By the end of this video, you'll see 20 indoor plants that not only survive but thrive in water alone. Some of them are common, some are rare, and a few will completely change the way you think about indoor gardening. Stick around, because number 17 will surprise you. It's one that people often overlook but can transform any space instantly. And number 20? Let's just say it's the perfect reminder that sometimes the simplest methods hold the greatest secrets. So if you're ready to make your home greener, calmer, and more alive with virtually zero effort, keep watching. And while you're here, consider joining our growing community of plant lovers by subscribing. You'll get more videos like this, carefully curated for people who love subtle beauty and practical tips, not hype or gimmicks. Number 1, Monstera deliciosa, often called a Swiss cheese plant, or as some people quietly refer to it, the window jungle maker. Long before it became a design icon, this plant was grown by families in tropical regions who noticed something unusual. Cuttings placed in jars of water didn't weaken over time. They stabilized. The leaves stayed broad, the stems thickened, and the plant adapted to slower, more controlled growth. Modern research shows why this works so well. Monstera naturally produces aerial roots designed to absorb moisture and nutrients directly from the air and surrounding water. When grown in water alone, those roots don't have to compete with soil microbes or fluctuating conditions. The result is less stress and fewer common plant diseases. The cause and effect is simple. Clean water gives the roots consistent access to oxygen and moisture. Consistency reduces shock. Reduced shock leads to longer lifespan and steadier growth. Most people use Monstera in water by placing a healthy cutting in a clear glass container, changing the water every 1 to 2 weeks, and keeping in bright, indirect light. No fertilizer is required at first. Over time, many people add a single drop of diluted nutrients, but even that is optional. So why was this forgotten? Because Monstera became associated with large pots, heavy soil, and statement decor. Water-grown versions didn't look impressive enough for showrooms. They were too simple, too quiet, and simplicity rarely sells. Think of water-grown Monstera as a slow-burn version of the plant, like having a living sculpture that grows with intention instead of urgency. And if that sounds understated, the next plant on this list takes that idea even further, with a reputation for surviving where almost nothing else can. Number 2, Purple Heart, scientifically known as Tradescantia pallida, sometimes called a survivor vine. For generations, this plant was passed between neighbors and family members as a cutting, not a purchase. People noticed that even when soil was scarce or poor, Purple Heart refused to die. Drop a stem in a jar of water, and roots appeared within days. No instructions, no special care. Modern research suggests this resilience comes from the plant's rapid root regeneration and high tolerance for low-nutrient environments. Tradescantia is uniquely efficient at absorbing what it needs directly from water, which allows it to adapt quickly without relying on soil structure. The cause and effect is straightforward. Fast root formation leads to quicker stabilization. Stabilization reduces decay. Reduced decay allows the plant to focus its energy on leaf color and vine growth instead of survival. Most people grow Purple Heart in water by suspending several cuttings in a narrow container, letting the stems cascade outward as they grow. Bright light intensifies the purple color, while water alone keeps growth compact and manageable. Refreshing the water weekly is usually enough. So, why did this method fade away? because Purple Heart became labeled as a ground cover or outdoor filler. Once categorized that way, its water-growing potential was largely ignored. There was nothing proprietary to sell, no upgraded version to market. Think of Purple Heart in water as a living reminder of adaptability, like having a plant that proves resilience doesn't need ideal conditions, just consistency. And as tough as this one is, the next plant is known for something even more surprising: its ability to clean the space around it while asking almost nothing in return. Number 3. Silver Inch Plant, known botanically as Tradescantia zebrina, often nicknamed the living mirror. This plant has followed people indoors for over a century, especially in small apartments and workspaces where soil was impractical. Many households discovered that when a few cuttings were placed in water, the plant didn't just survive, it refined itself. Shorter inner nodes, brighter striping, more controlled trailing. Modern research shows that Tradescantia zebrina is exceptionally responsive to stable hydration. Its stems contain high water storage capacity, and its roots readily adapt to oxygen-rich water environments. Without the fluctuations that soil introduces, the plant maintains visual consistency for longer periods. Here's the simple cause and effect. Constant moisture without saturation stress allows energy to be redirected from root repair to leaf pigmentation. That's why the silver bands become more pronounced when grown in water. Most people use silver inch plant in water by clustering several cuttings in a shallow glass vessel, allowing the vines to drape naturally over time. Bright, indirect light keeps the contrast sharp. Changing the water weekly prevents stagnation and keeps roots clear. So why don't more people grow it this way? Because it's often sold as a fast-growing pot plant meant to be replaced, not maintained. Water growth slows it down, and slower plants don't drive repeat sales. Think of water-grown Tradescantia zebrina as a design element rather than a plant, like having a living accent piece that quietly adjusts itself to the space. And if controlled beauty is impressive, the next plant earned its reputation by doing the opposite, surviving chaos, neglect, and almost any environment you could imagine. Number 4. Cane begonia, often called the angel wing begonia, and sometimes remembered as the heirloom window plant. Decades ago, this was a plant you didn't buy. You inherited it. Families kept cane begonias on windowsills and passed down cuttings and glasses of water, knowing they would root reliably without fuss. Even during times when soil was scarce or conditions were unstable, these plants kept growing. Modern research helps explain why. Cane begonias store moisture in their thick, segmented stems, allowing them to tolerate water-only environments with minimal stress. Their roots are naturally adapted to consistent hydration, which reduces the risk of drying out or root shock. The cause and effect is gentle but powerful. Stable water access prevents stress responses. Less stress means stronger stems and more frequent leaf production. Over time, the plant focuses on balance instead of survival. Most people grow angel wing begonia in water by placing a healthy cane cutting in a tall glass container, keeping at least one node submerged. Bright, indirect light encourages leaf growth, while weekly water changes keep the roots clean and oxygenated. Many people find water-grown begonias easier to manage than soil-grown ones. So why did this practice fade? Because begonias became associated with flowering pots and seasonal displays. Water-grown versions didn't fit the retail model. They lasted too long. They didn't need replacing. Think of a water-grown cane begonia as a living heirloom, like having a plant that values longevity over speed, quietly growing alongside you year after year. And as elegant as this one is, the next plant on the list is known for something entirely different: its ability to thrive even when almost completely ignored. Number 5. Arrowhead plant, scientifically known as Syngonium podophyllum, often called the adaptable climber. In many parts of Central and South America, this plant was traditionally grown from cuttings placed directly into water before ever touching soil. People noticed that Syngonium didn't resist the transition. It welcomed it. The roots formed quickly, and the plant adjusted its growth pattern to match its environment. Modern research suggests this flexibility comes from Syngonium's semi-epiphytic nature. It's designed to switch between growing in organic matter on tree surfaces or near water sources. When grown in water alone, the plant reduces leaf size and growth speed, conserving energy while staying healthy. The cause and effect is simple. Reduced resistance to environmental change leads to lower stress. Lower stress leads to consistent root development. And consistent roots mean long-term stability. Most people grow arrowhead plant in water by placing a single cutting or small cluster into a clear container, keeping 1 or 2 nodes submerged. Bright, indirect light keeps leaf shapes defined, while weekly water refreshes maintain clarity and oxygen levels. So why is this method rarely discussed? Because Syngonium is marketed as an easy starter plant for soil pots. Water-grown versions don't create urgency. They grow steadily, not dramatically, and steady doesn't sell. Think of water-grown Syngonium as a living example of adaptability, like having a plant that changes its pace instead of fighting its surroundings. And if adaptability is impressive, the next plant on the list is famous for something even more extreme: its ability to thrive in plain water almost indefinitely, with virtually no intervention at all. Number 6. Chinese evergreen, known scientifically as Aglaonema, often referred to as a quiet survivor. In many Asian households, Aglaonema was traditionally kept in water-filled containers during hot, humid seasons when soil dried too quickly. People noticed that the plant didn't decline. It slowed down, conserved energy, and remained visually healthy for long periods with minimal attention. Modern research supports this observation. Aglaonema has thick, fibrous roots that tolerate low-oxygen environments better than many houseplants. When grown in water, these roots adapt by staying compact and efficient, reducing the risk of rot when water is kept clean. Here's the cause and effect. Consistent moisture, without saturation stress, allows the plant to maintain cellular balance. That balance leads to steady leaf condition and long-term resilience, even in low-light environments. Most people grow Chinese evergreen in water by placing a stem cutting or small root section into a wide glass container, ensuring the base stays submerged. Low to medium indirect light is sufficient, and changing the water every 1 to 2 weeks is usually enough. So why was this practice overlooked? Because Aglaonema became known as a low-light soil plant. Water growth didn't fit the narrative of decorative pots and package care instructions. It was too forgiving, too durable. Think of water-grown Chinese evergreen as a plant that knows how to wait, like having a calm presence in a room that doesn't demand attention to stay healthy. And as patient as this one is, the next plant on the list gained fame for something more visible: its ability to trail, climb, and multiply in water faster than most people expect. Number 7. Dieffenbachia, commonly known as dumb cane, sometimes called the silent giant. Long before it became a staple of office corners and hotel lobbies, Dieffenbachia was grown in water by households that valued reliability over decoration. Large stem sections were often kept upright in jars or vases, where they rooted slowly but steadily, maintaining strong leaves without soil. Modern research suggests Dieffenbachia's success in water comes from its thick, cane-like stems. These stems store moisture and nutrients efficiently, allowing the plant to tolerate consistent hydration without rapid decay. When soil variables are removed, the plant's growth becomes more controlled and predictable. The cause and effect is clear. Stored water in the stem reduces dependency on fluctuating root conditions. Reduced dependency lowers stress. Lower stress helps the plant maintain leaf structure and size over long periods. Most people grow Dieffenbachia in water by placing a mature cane cutting into a tall, stable container, keeping the lower portion submerged. Bright, indirect light supports leaf retention, while changing the water every 1 to 2 weeks keeps roots healthy and clear. Growth is slower than in soil, but stability is higher. So why did water growing fall out of favor? Because Dieffenbachia became associated with large decorative pots and fast vertical growth. Water-grown plants didn't match the commercial expectation. They lasted too long and grew too calmly. Think of water-grown Dieffenbachia as a living pillar, like having a plant that anchors a space through quiet strength rather than constant change. And if quiet strength is impressive, the next plant on the list is known for something even more remarkable: its ability to trail endlessly, root effortlessly, and adapt to almost any indoor environment with ease. Number 8. Prayer plant, scientifically known as Marana lecanura, often nicknamed the daily mover. For generations, Families in South America notice something fascinating about this plant. Its leaves folded up at night and unfolded by morning, like a natural rhythm of rest and wakefulness. But even more intriguing, when placed in a glass of water, it continued this daily ritual without missing a beat. No soil, no fuss, just life, moving gently on its own schedule. Modern research shows that prayer plants are highly efficient at water uptake. Their shallow root systems can absorb oxygen directly from water, allowing them to maintain steady metabolic activity. By growing in water, the plant avoids the stress of inconsistent soil moisture, which keeps its leaves vibrant and healthy. The cause and effect is simple yet remarkable. Consistent hydration supports leaf movement and overall vitality. Healthy movement encourages photosynthesis efficiency, and efficient photosynthesis strengthens the plant over time. Most people grow Maranta in water by immersing the lower nodes in a clear container, ensuring enough light reaches the leaves without direct sunburn. Weekly water changes prevent stagnation and maintain clarity, allowing the plant to thrive effortlessly. So, why did this method nearly vanish? Because Maranta became associated with decorative soil pots and occasional indoor gardening trends. Its subtle beauty was overlooked for showier flowering plants. Water growing wasn't flashy enough for the market. Think of a water-grown prayer plant as a living timepiece, like having a small, graceful rhythm of nature right on your windowsill. And if graceful rhythm captivates you, the next plant on the list surprises even more with its ability to thrive in water while purifying the air around it in ways few plants can match. Number 9. Dracaena marginata, more commonly known as the Madagascar dragon tree, or the spire of resilience. This plant wasn't just admired for its striking, sword-like leaves. In its native Madagascar and beyond, people discovered it could thrive in water alone. Cuttings placed in jars developed strong roots while the upper foliage remained bold and upright, almost as if the plant was designed to endure and impress without soil. Modern research shows that Dracaena has naturally efficient vascular tissues, capable of transporting water and nutrients directly from the stem to the leaves. When grown in water, it avoids the unpredictable stress of soil microbes and fluctuating moisture levels, which allows its growth to remain steady and dramatic. The cause and effect is precise. Constant hydration reduces stress. Reduced stress strengthens stems. Stronger stems support taller, healthier leaves, giving the plant its signature architectural presence. Most people grow Madagascar dragon tree in water by suspending a healthy cutting in a tall, narrow container, keeping 1 to 2 nodes submerged. Indirect bright light keeps its foliage dark and defined, while changing the water weekly ensures roots stay crisp and healthy. Minimal care produces maximum impact. So why did this powerful method get forgotten? Because Dracaena became a statement soil plant, something meant to fill empty corners and impress with height, not longevity. The quiet efficiency of water growing was too understated for commercial appeal. Think of water-grown Dracaena as a natural skyscraper in miniature, like having a silent garden in your room that demands attention without shouting. And speaking of attention, the next plant on our list takes subtlety to the next level, turning nearly invisible care into astonishing growth. Number 10. Monstera adansonii, also called the Swiss cheese vine, sometimes known as the window perforator for its iconic hole-filled leaves. This plant has quietly fascinated plant lovers for decades. Generations noticed that even simple cuttings, placed in a jar of water, would root rapidly and begin trailing within weeks. Unlike many tropical plants that demand careful soil and humidity, Monstera adansonii seems to thrive on simplicity. Modern research points to its natural epiphytic habits. In the wild, it climbs trees and draws nutrient from rain and air rather than dense soil. When grown in water, the plant leverages its evolutionary design. Its roots absorb oxygen and nutrients efficiently, while the stem channels energy directly into new growth. The cause and effect is effortless yet profound. Roots develop quickly. Quick roots stabilize the plant. Stability allows leaves to expand and form those signature holes, creating a lush, dynamic display. Most people grow Swiss cheese vine in water by placing several cuttings in a tall jar, ensuring the nodes are submerged. The trailing vines can be trained along supports or allowed to cascade naturally. Lightly indirect sunlight brings out the rich green pattern, and weekly water changes keep the roots healthy. So why has this simple method been overlooked? Because Monstera adansonii became a statement vine sold in soil for dramatic displays. Water-grown cuttings were too subtle, too patient, and too easy to propagate, not something commercial markets could monetize. Think of water-grown Swiss cheese vine as a living piece of art, like having a sculpture that moves, grows, and changes shape with time. And as artistic as this one is, the next plant takes durability to a level most indoor plants can only dream of, surviving even the neglectful and forgetful with ease. Number 11. Peace lily, scientifically known as spathiphyllum, often called the calm purifier. For decades, this plant has quietly held a place in homes and offices, valued not just for its elegant white blooms, but for its remarkable adaptability. Long before fancy fertilizers and soil mixes, people discovered that peace lily cuttings placed in water would root steadily, producing lush leaves and occasional flowers without fuss. Modern research explains why this works so well. Peace lily naturally thrives in moist, oxygen-rich environments. Its roots are highly efficient at absorbing water and nutrients directly, allowing the plant to maintain steady growth even without soil. The plant's vascular system handles hydration consistently, keeping leaves glossy and strong. The cause and effect is simple. Consistent water supply reduces stress. Reduced stress encourages leaf and flower production. Healthy leaves improve photosynthesis efficiency. That's why water-grown peace lilies often appear calmer, more vibrant, and longer-lasting than their soil-grown counterparts. Most people grow peace lily in water by placing a cutting or small plant in a glass or jar, keeping the base submerged while ensuring the crown doesn't sit in water to prevent rot. Bright, indirect light encourages both leaf growth and occasional blooms. Water changes every week or two keep roots clean and prevent stagnation. So, why did this method fall out of everyday knowledge? Because peace lily became a soil potted plant, sold in shops with care labels and replacement cycles. The quiet, self-sufficient version in water simply didn't generate repeat sales. Think of a water-grown peace lily as a living meditation, like having a small, silent garden of calm that improves the room simply by existing. And as serene as this plant is, the next one on our list is a true trailblazer, literally. It's famous for trailing endlessly, rooting anywhere, and bringing a sense of motion to any indoor space. Number 12. English ivy, scientifically known as heterohelix, often called the climbing guardian. For centuries, this plant has been cherished for its ability to cover walls, trellises, and even indoor corners, creating a sense of green continuity. But what many people don't realize is how well it thrives in water. Generations of gardeners noticed that even simple stem cuttings, placed in jars or vases, would root vigorously and begin trailing within days. Modern research shows why. English ivy naturally grows as an epiphyte in parts of Europe, clinging to tree trunks and absorbing nutrients and moisture from rain and humidity. Its roots are highly adaptive and can extract what they need directly from water. By removing soil stressors, the plant focuses energy on leaf growth and trailing development. Here's the cause and effect. Rapid root formation stabilizes the plant. Stability encourages consistent leaf production. Consistent leaves create the dense, elegant cascades ivy is known for. Most people grow English ivy in water by submerging several nodes of a cutting in a clear container. The vines can be allowed to drape over edges or trained along supports. Weekly water changes keep roots healthy and free of algae. Indirect sunlight ensures the leaves retain their deep, vibrant green. So why did water growing fall out of common practice? Because English ivy became a soil wall covering plant, associated with outdoor hedges or pre-potted displays. Water propagation is subtle and slow to impress, and subtle doesn't always sell. Think of water-grown English ivy as a living curtain, like having a natural piece of architecture that drapes gracefully, quietly transforming your space. And as elegant as this one is, the next plant on our list takes minimalism even further, thriving in water while adding a dramatic, upright presence to any room. Number 13. Pothos, scientifically known as Epipremnum aureum, often called the unstoppable vine or devil's ivy for its near-legendary resilience. For decades, households around the world have kept pothos cuttings in jars of water, marveling as the vines took hold and spread seemingly overnight. Even beginners with no gardening experience could watch the roots grow thick and the leaves multiply, almost as if the plant was made to thrive with minimal effort. Modern research confirms its adaptability. Pothos is naturally epiphytic, designed to cling to surfaces and absorb nutrients from air and moisture rather than relying solely on soil. Its roots excel in oxygen-rich water environments, allowing steady, rapid growth. The plant redirects energy from root hunting to leaf expansion, giving it lush, cascading foliage. The cause and effect is simple but powerful. Strong roots in water stabilize the plant. Stability allows continuous vine growth. Continuous growth results in a dense, green cascade that fills any corner with life. Most people grow pothos in water by placing a few nodes of a cutting in a clear jar, ensuring at least one node is submerged. Bright, indirect light brings out the characteristic variegation. Weekly water changes keep the roots crisp and prevent stagnation. Minimal care produces dramatic results. So why has this been overlooked? Because pothos became so common in soil pots and hanging baskets that its water-growing potential seemed ordinary, too ubiquitous to impress or market. But the truth is, it's anything but ordinary. Think of water-grown pothos as a living cascade, like having a small, flowing green waterfall right inside your home. And if effortless growth is impressive, the next plant takes endurance to a whole new level, surviving neglect, low light, and even irregular water changes while still flourishing. Number 14. Heartleaf philodendron, scientifically known as Philodendron hederaceum, often called the climbing heart for its elegant trailing leaves. For generations, this plant has been a favorite for both beginners and experienced plant keepers. Families discovered that cuttings placed directly in water would root quickly, producing long, graceful vines that could drape across shelves, windowsills, or hanging planters. No soil required, no fuss, just a simple glass of water and indirect light. Modern research shows why Heartleaf philodendron adapts so well. Like many aroids, it evolved as an epiphyte, naturally climbing trees and absorbing moisture and nutrients from rainwater and humid air. In water, the plant's roots efficiently capture oxygen and nutrients, while the stems focus energy on leaf growth and trailing length. Here's the cause and effect. Quick root development stabilizes the plant. Stability allows continuous vine growth. Continuous growth results in abundant, glossy leaves that fill any space effortlessly. Most people grow Heartleaf philodendron in water by placing several nodes of a cutting into a clear container, keeping at least one node submerged. Indirect light helps leaves remain rich and green, while weekly water changes prevent stagnation and keep roots healthy. The result is a plant that seems to grow itself. So, why did this method fade from common knowledge? Because Heartleaf philodendron became synonymous with soil pots, hanging baskets, and retail displays. Water-grown versions were too easy, too slow to impress. Simplicity rarely sells. Think of water-grown Heartleaf philodendron as a living ribbon, like having a flexible, green lifeline weaving quietly through your home. And as graceful as this one is, the next plant on the list begins a final escalation. A plant so striking in both appearance and resilience, it almost feels like magic in water. Number 15. Spider plant, scientifically known as Chlorophytum comosum, often called the air dancer for its long, arching leaves and cascading baby plantlets. This plant has been a staple in homes for generations, often found in hanging baskets or windowsills. But what many people don't realize is that spider plant thrives in water just as well. Even a simple crown cutting placed in a jar produces roots in days, while tiny spinnerets develop and can be propagated endlessly. Modern research shows why this works. Spider plants naturally store energy in their thick, fibrous roots, which can efficiently absorb water and nutrients. When grown in water, the plant avoids soil-borne pathogens and fluctuating moisture, creating a stress-free environment that encourages steady growth. Here's the cause and effect. Roots grow quickly and firmly. Quick roots stabilize the plant. Stabilization allows baby plantlets to form reliably. The result is a self-propagating network of greenery that can expand across your home. Most people grow spider plants in water by submerging the base of the crown in a wide glass container, keeping the leaves above water. Indirect sunlight enhances growth and color, while refreshing the water weekly ensures strong, healthy roots. So, why did this method fall out of everyday practice? Because spider plants were marketed as hanging basket decor. Soil growing made them look fuller, and their water growing simplicity was overlooked, too modest for commercial appeal. Think of a water-grown spider plant as a living fountain, like having greenery that dances, multiplies, and brings life to every corner without demanding constant care. And as lively as this one is, the next plant on our list takes resilience to another level. It's legendary for surviving neglect, low light, and almost any indoor condition you can throw at it. Number 16. Lucky bamboo, scientifically known as Dracaena sanderiana, often called the fortune stalk for its symbolism of luck and prosperity. Though commonly gifted in offices and homes, many people don't realize how easy it is to grow in water and how resilient it can be. Cuttings placed in jars or vases root quickly, producing strong stems and vibrant green leaves without soil. Some families have kept the same plants thriving for years, simply by refreshing the water and keeping them in indirect light. Modern research explains its success. Lucky bamboo has thick, fibrous stems that store moisture efficiently. Its roots are adapted to water absorption and oxygen uptake in confined environments. When soil stresses are removed, the plant channels its energy into vertical growth and leaf production rather than survival. Here's the cause and effect. Steady water supply reduces stress. Reduced stress encourages consistent leaf and stem growth. Consistent growth strengthens the plant over time, making it long-lasting and almost indestructible in indoor settings. Most people grow lucky bamboo in water by placing one or more stems in a vase or glass jar, covering the roots while keeping the leaves above water. Indirect light keeps foliage vibrant, and changing the water weekly prevents stagnation and encourages continued growth. So, why did this method get overshadowed? Because lucky bamboo became associated with feng shui gifts and decorative soil pots. Its water-growing potential was considered common knowledge, and so quietly overlooked. Yet in reality, it's one of the easiest and most reliable plants to maintain. Think of water-grown lucky bamboo as a living charm, like having a symbol of resilience, patience, and calm prosperity quietly thriving in your space. And if resilience fascinates you, number 17 is coming up next. The plant I tease and hook, traditionally placed near doors to protect households, with a history so intriguing it feels almost magical. Number 17. Coleus, often called the color magician for its vibrant, almost electric foliage. This plant has a surprising history. In traditional households, small cuttings of coleus were placed near doors and windows, not just for beauty, but because people believed they brought balance and protection to the home. Generations passed these water-rooted cuttings from one family member to another, marveling at how effortlessly the plant would establish itself and explode with color, even in simple jars of water. Modern research shows that coleus is highly adaptable to water-only growth. Its stems contain natural moisture reserves, while its roots develop quickly and efficiently, absorbing oxygen and nutrients directly from water. Without the inconsistencies of soil, the plant can focus entirely on leaf production, creating a canopy of striking patterns that almost seems to glow indoors. Here's the cause and effect. Rapid root development stabilizes the plant. Stability allows energy to focus on leaf color and pattern. Vibrant foliage results in a living display that transforms any corner into a visual centerpiece. Most people grow coleus in water by placing a healthy stem cutting into a jar, keeping the lower nodes submerged. Indirect sunlight intensifies the foliage, and weekly water changes keep roots clean and healthy. With minimal care, the plant flourishes, producing leaves as vivid as any soil-grown counterpart. So why was this water-growing method forgotten? Because coleus became a seasonal bedding plant in many regions. Soil-grown, fast-cycling varieties dominated nurseries, while water-grown cuttings, quietly thriving year after year, were overlooked. There was no marketable hype, just consistent, dependable growth. Think of water-grown coleus as a living kaleidoscope, like having a constantly shifting, radiant display of color right on your windowsill, combining beauty and resilience in one plant. And if color and resilience captivate you, number 18 takes things even further. A plant so adaptable it can survive almost any indoor condition while purifying the environment around it. Number 18. Mint, scientifically known as mentha, often called the fragrant powerhouse. Mint has been grown for centuries in kitchens, windowsills, and simple jars of water. People notice something remarkable. Even a small stem cutting will root quickly and start producing fresh, aromatic leaves almost immediately. Unlike many plants, mint seems to thrive on attention but doesn't demand it. Water alone is enough to keep it vigorous. Modern research explains why mint excels in water. Its roots are naturally fine and fibrous, optimized for absorbing moisture and nutrients efficiently. The plant's rapid growth and aromatic leaf production are enhanced in consistent hydration, as stress is minimized and energy is redirected toward foliage rather than survival. Here's the cause and effect. Quick root establishment stabilizes the plant. Stability allows constant leaf production. Constant leaf growth means a continuous supply of fresh leaves and fragrance that can elevate any indoor space. Most people grow mint in water by placing a few cuttings in a small jar, ensuring the nodes are submerged. Bright, indirect sunlight encourages fuller leaves, while weekly water changes prevent stagnation and keep roots strong. Over time, the plant will even branch, creating a small, aromatic green bouquet. So why was water-growing mint overlooked? Because it became associated with outdoor herb beds or potted kitchen gardens. Soil-grown mint was easier to sell as ready to harvest, while water-grown cuttings, quietly thriving indoors, were often passed over. Think of water-grown mint as a living spice rack, like having fresh, fragrant leaves at your fingertips every day, effortlessly blending beauty, aroma, and usefulness. And if versatility and fragrance impress you, Number 19 is next, a plant with a reputation for dramatic indoor impact, combining both aesthetic elegance and near indestructibility. Number 19, basil, scientifically known as Osmium basilicum, often called the aromatic king for its fragrant, glossy leaves and culinary versatility. For centuries, basil has been a staple in kitchens, gardens, and even household rituals. But few people know how effortlessly it can thrive in water. A single cutting, placed in a jar, will quickly develop roots and begin producing vibrant, flavorful leaves, sometimes faster than in soil. Families have passed cuttings this way for generations, creating a continuous supply of fresh basil without planting a single seed. Modern research shows why basil does so well in water. Its stems contain high moisture reserves, and its fibrous roots adapt to oxygen-rich water environments. Without the fluctuations of soil nutrients or pests, the plant focuses its energy on producing aromatic leaves and steady, compact growth. Here's the cause and effect. Rapid root development stabilizes the plant. Stability allows consistent leaf production. Consistent leaves create both a visually appealing plant and a reliable source of fresh aroma and flavor. Most people grow basil in water by submerging the lower nodes of a cutting in a jar, placing it in bright, indirect sunlight. Weekly water changes keep roots healthy and prevent stagnation. With minimal attention, the plant thrives, producing lush foliage that can be harvested continuously. So why was water-growing basil largely forgotten? Because commercial nurseries marketed it as soil-grown herb seedlings, ready for immediate harvest. Water propagation, quiet and ongoing, didn't create urgency or repeat sales. Yet, in reality, it's one of the easiest and fastest-growing water-based plants for indoors. Think of water-grown basil as a living kitchen companion, like having fresh flavor, fragrance, and vitality within arm's reach every day. Number 20. Sweet potato vine, scientifically known as Ipomoea batatas, often called the living connector, and it's the perfect finale to our list. This plant is extraordinary. Unlike most indoor plants that demand soil, nutrients, or constant attention, the sweet potato vine thrives effortlessly in water. Its cuttings develop roots quickly, sending out lush, trailing vines that can fill a space with greenery in just weeks. In some households, families have kept the same plant growing for years, watching it twist, climb, and cascade, all from a simple glass of water. Modern research shows that sweet potato vine is naturally designed for water propagation. Its tubers store energy, while its flexible stems rapidly produce roots. When freed from soil stress, the plant focuses entirely on growth, creating long, vibrant vines that almost seem alive in motion. The cause and effect is powerful. Energy stored in the tuber fuels rapid root and vine growth. Rapid growth stabilizes the plant. Stability allows continuous expansion, transforming ordinary containers into cascading green statements. Most people grow sweet potato vine in water by placing a healthy tuber or stem cutting in a shallow glass or jar, keeping the node submerged. Indirect sunlight encourages lush leaves and rich color, while refreshing the water weekly keeps roots healthy and vibrant. Over time, the plant can even spill over tables, shelves, or hanging containers, turning simple spaces into thriving, living corners. So why was this method forgotten? Because sweet potato vine became primarily known for its edible tubers and outdoor decorative value. Its indoor, water-grown potential, dramatic, resilient, and endlessly cascading, was quietly overlooked. Think of water-grown sweet potato vine as the ultimate symbol of simplicity meeting abundance, like having a living reminder that beauty, growth, and resilience don't require complexity. It's the perfect conclusion to our journey. A plant that thrives, inspires, and connects everything we've learned about indoor greenery and water. And with that, you've seen 20 plants that redefine what it means to care for indoor greenery. From the quiet patience of Chinese evergreen to the dramatic cascade of sweet potato vine, these plants prove that sometimes the simplest methods yield the most impressive results. Which one surprised you the most? I'd love to know in the comments. If you enjoyed this calm, practical exploration of water-grown plants, consider subscribing. There's more to discover and more ways to bring effortless life into your home. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.